Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. We are here to play a fun game called Burial Grounds. And actually, if you were hanging with us a little bit before, the reason we took so long is we were talking about how we could create crypto in this world. And Twy said that crypto is what? Say it again, Twy.
Crypto is proof of work. It shows that an adventurer has been down into a crypt.
Yes.
You don't get to go there, but somebody has.
Yes. It's that you buy the non-fungible token, which is the address to where the treasure is. And then people say, but can't you just go and get the treasure and move it? It's like, yeah, it's a scam. But in our current situation with the merchant, they probably would find a way to, like hyper monetize it and turn it into a pyramid scheme. So they're great. Anyway, hey, let's kick off with Chev, our narrator, telling us what's going on, and then we can do a little circle and introduce ourselves.
Yeah. Hey everybody. So I am Chev. I'm running this game called Burial Grounds, which is using a kind of post-apocalypse fantasy setting called Icon. So generally, there is a very large and mysterious ruin that came up through the earth, and a bunch of different factions have decided to vie for control of the ruins. It is large and mysterious. Nobody knows what it is, but they all know that it can help them accomplish their particular goals. In the middle of all of this is the party themselves, who have been doing some light adventuring down into the kind of outskirts of the ruins. But have not been into the main ruins yet. They've mostly been interacting with the various factions that are all, have grown up around the ruins. Where we left off last time, so the party had been with the Stonebreakers, heading towards the Overgrowth. On the way, Morvins realized he was missing his heirloom hot plate. He thought the Bookers took it, but Kenzo blames Tally and suggests Tally might have sent it to the Overgrowth to sell. Tally being a gremlin-like little cat that has been pestering the group. They went to the Overgrowth and met with someone who turned out to be the leader of the Overgrowth merchants, who sold them back their own hot plate. Sold them a clipping of the magical vine wall zoo that they used to protect their valuables, and tried to convince the party to place a mysterious possibly cursed book in the library of the Bookers, who are the chronicler camp that is on the other side of the ruins. They also met Cinna, Pura's son, who is currently trying to recruit people for a mission to kill one of the lieutenants of the Stonebreakers. The party decided to con their way into the group, but also have decided that before they go over to the Breakers on this assassination mission, they are going to do a little bit of dungeon spelunking, and that is where we kind of left off last time. So before we get started with kind of the game itself, let's go around and introduce everybody. So I think we started with 0 last time, so let's go the opposite way around. Misha, tell us who you're going to be playing.
All right, well, I'm Misha_lesson3. I'm playing Chia. She's a Thrin, which is like an elf type person. She's a chronicler, which generally means she's from a distant culture that researches ancient sites themselves.
Nerds.
She's maybe a bunch of nerds.
Like literal ivory tower folks.
Yeah, literally. Very hierarchical kind of society. She thinks the Bookers are fine, despite everything that Kenzo's been saying. Probably has made a terrible decision asking for a piece of Walzu from a place called the Overgrowth. But listen, we'll get there when we get there. It needs more study. It has a pamphlet. It can't possibly go wrong. Sin.
Hi, I'm Sin, or simple__potato on Twitch and other social media sites. Yeah. I play Leos, who has an accent, and that'll be fun because I forgot, and we're just gonna roll with it. Twi.
Hello, I am Twi'lek, and I am playing Morven. I am a Badger, Beastkin, and I am a Churner, and I'm a Mender, right? My class is, supporting, helping. I'm a cook. I'm a really good cook. And as a Churner who is a cook, I'm really good at ice cream. So, my intention today is to go delving into the ruins, and if there's any lovely food in there, I'm going to try and taste it. What about you, Kenzo?
I mean, that food is probably 1,000 years old and cursed, but sure. I mean, I'm all for it. I support you wholeheartedly. Yeah, Kenzo is also a Thren. And I don't know, are they like elves or like gelflings? They're something in between those two. Anyway, but like the best people. But unlike Gia, he is also a churner, and churners forever. And he's awesome. He's done so much. He's explored, all the important ruins, and befriended strange monsters and led battles and whatever. Just ask him. He is an inveterate liar, because he has learned that if you make it up and sell it hard enough, it suddenly becomes true in the eyes of the world. And he has strange, lightning based kind of powers of bilocation and teleportation and stuff like that. Yeah, we all got magic. Oh, and currently he is fomenting rebellion among the ranks of the overgrowth, kind of planting seeds for the next generation to overthrow the older generation. And the plan now is to go and repeat the performance with the churners, and just kind of like sweep away the old guard in one massive uprising. As you do.
Okay. Welcome, Raiders.
Hey, Juice and crew.
So, before we get started, so where we left off, was that the party was camping with the son of the overgrowth, with Cinna, and his team that is technically on an assassination mission. You have decided to try and divert some of their goals, and chiefly you want to do a little bit of adventuring in the ruins. My question is, are you going yesterday you woke up, you walked over to the camp, you did a bunch of shopping, you talked to a bunch of people, so we would have been, let's say, like early evening by the time we ended last session. So my question is, are you going right in, or are you going to get a night's rest first?
Well, wasn't the plan to go in tonight after, as the sun set? Isn't that when the expedition was planning on going in? Just spend a few hours in there, and then once all the lights come out is when we're all supposed to sneak out and go over and assassinate the member of the churners.
Oh, yes. You were trying to get them to, you want people to see you going in, but not necessarily coming out.
Yes. And instead of assassinating, because the agent of the churners that we were supposed to help assassinate is actually our double agent, the doctor. And so we do not want them dead, because they're our double agent. So we're gonna follow the plan that the overgrowth have laid out to a point, but we have already planted seeds that instead of fighting, we're going to collaborate.
Okay. So let me see. In that case, then okay, this stuff will come later. So if time passed, there was some stuff that was going to happen, but that will happen. That is the broader world, things are happening.
Ooh.
Okay. So where we can begin is we see a large enormous stone head of a wolfkin. This head is at least 100 feet tall. It is, one massive piece of stone. The large stone that this was, it's just one monolithic piece of stone. Next to it are, to the left and right, or we see the party, all of our characters, standing next to a few other people and some tents, and they are maybe a bit a ways from the kind of backside of the head. This large stone head of a wolfkin has a kind of, if you were to look at it from the other side, it would have this kind of like scowl, grimace, like feral-ish looking expression. Not really, like, almost like you can't decide if it's pain or anger or fear. To the left and right of you are rows of smaller heads, still impressive monolithic pieces of rock, but they all, marching away to the left and right. You can see that there is a doorway that is carved in kind of at the back of the head where it kind of meets the ground. You can see that there is one or two small tents, some crates. There is a couple figures that are standing guard there. And are looking at all of you warily as you approach. Well, actually, before that, is there anything that you all would like to take care of before we start on this expedition? Any kind of any scenes that anyone wants to see? Any stuff? Technically, we're in the middle of an interlude between expeditions. So if there's anything that people want to take care of before the expedition starts.
I want a scene of Chia trimming that stupid topiary and forgetting to burn the pieces. So that it just grows up all over everywhere.
It's part of the instruction manual.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you gonna carry it with you the entire time?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe I said that it requires trimming like at least once a day.
90%.
Yeah, you gotta trim away 90% of it and burn the rest. So maybe Chia's definitely not forgetting. But maybe we could say that like everyone is having a snack. They are people are enjoying a small little early evening meal to get some energy before everyone goes into the dungeon. And we see Chia, who has taken over a small table and is pamphlet in one hand and clippers in the other, looking at this weed. So for what it looks like, it's got a small little kind of handmade like fire cured pot, pretty crude, the kind of thing that someone would mass make using a mold, but not put too much work into it. And out of the center of it is a vine that is growing straight up. It looks like a climbing vine, but it's always moving kind of gently. Like every minute or two, it makes a full resolution. It always looks like it's trying to grab onto something. And as soon as, if it brushes against something, immediately it starts twining itself around it. And it's not too much work to get rid of it. To unbend it, but the pamphlet is definitely telling you, like, once it starts wrapping around someone, around something, it's going to start to recognize that as the thing it needs to protect, and so you need to kind of trim it back, get it away from that as soon as possible.
So not Chia traipsing through a dungeon with a potted plant. It's all good.
It's portable protection.
Yeah.
Just wear it as a boa and you'll be fine.
Okay. So, after a bit, Senna comes over to you all. Okay. I think we're all ready. Are you all ready?
Yeah.
We gotta, and he kind of comes over and he, gives Kenzo a really like obvious kind of like nudge with his elbow, like, "Are we ready to go adventuring?"
As we put down our lovely fresh baked blueberry muffins that Morven's made as they are finishing up, choking down the last bits of their hardtack. It's like, oh yeah, sure. Just reinforcing that we're paid so much more than they are.
That stuff smells incredible.
Your dad doesn't provide you with A-class provisions before you go on a delve?
Oh, he always my father. He always says that there can't be any favoritism. I have to go my own way, and so
everyone should get fresh blueberry muffins. I agree.
Oh, can I have one?
I don't know.
He's a rabbit folk. He has a quick, almost endless kind of way of talking. You have to concentrate really to follow what he's saying. He's got some like rich looking clothes on, and he's not really aware of personal space. He's the kind of person who's always like, oh, personal space is something that like I have, not you. Like, yeah. So he's coming over his paws, just like, hey, ooh, that looks good. Can I grab a crumb? Can I grab a piece?
Do we have some leftover carrot cake from breakfast?
Yes, of course. I always make extra.
All right.
His eyes are wide. His pupils are enormous. He's like, oh, carrot cake. He takes some. And he's just like, oh, you. Oh, I'm gonna have to hire you to be my chef from now on.
First taste is free. The next one will cost you. Tell your friends. We're the hookup for the carrot cake.
Oh, but believe me, I will. Yes. Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Here's a little baggie to take to school with you.
Can Leo just walk over to
Cinnabon.
Yeah. Put their arm around them and be like, no. When me was just a young laddie like yourself, me father, he kicked me out of the house, sent me to the wilds, and made me live there until I can come back a strong man.
Oh, you too. Oh, that's exactly what he said to me on the day that he paid my tab and then told me, no, I'm never going to pay for another tab of yours again at that bar. Got to make your own way.
Okay. Cool. It sounds like you guys have some family of origin issues. We should go into the dungeon.
Yeah. There is some some flurry of activity. We kind of cut ahead to the party is marching forward. We've got Cinna and his bodyguards are in the back. They have told you all to, or they didn't really say for you all to go in front. They just kind of hung back and let you all take the lead. As you're going forward, you can see that there are two guards that are standing at the entrance to the inside of the very large head that you are all next to. One of them is a badger folk, and another one is a Thrin, and both of them are kind of larger. They've got some armor on. They're all covered in the kind of stuff like trinkets and trophies, like little odds and ends that they want to prove that I've been adventuring. I've seen some stuff. I've done some stuff. Little mementos of their travels. So clearly these are experienced combatants. You can see that each of them are kind of standing to either side of the door. The door is maybe about 10 feet wide. They've got a fire that is set up. They have set up a small sawhorse in front of the doors. You can all see that there are footprints that are to the coming and going, and you can actually see that there's some scuffs of where sand and dirt have been pushed, have been tracked into the interior of the ruins. And as you all approach, they stand up, and they had both been sitting around a fire on some logs, and they both, are kind of looking towards you all, and they're grabbing their weapons and taking their position. And the Badger folk looks towards you all and says, "Oh, halt! I can't let you all in. Orders." You can see that next to them are where they had been sitting. One of them had tucked something into his bag as he had been standing up. And both of them are, they've got some, kind of crumbs on their clothes here and there. But, they're looking towards you all really, really warily and sternly, like, no, you can't go any further. We're, this is a restricted area.
Do these guys look like overgrowth people?
Yes, they are. There is no uniform to the overgrowth. It is more of a anyone who is not like you can tell that just a random adventuring party. They look pretty like you all. Like they look kind of roughed up, rough for wear, not like injured, but like they've been through some stuff. Whereas the people who are actually like either they're merchants or they're guards for the overgrowth, they look a little bit nicer. They clearly have like some better equipment, and you can tell just looking at them, like there is no overgrowth uniform, but they are clearly people who are in the employ of the overgrowth.
Yes, Senna, talk to your boys.
Cinna kind of comes forward. Oh, okay. Now listen. You know who I am. We're on a mission. We're sent by some of the higher ups. We gotta go in there, and we gotta we gotta go explore the dungeon. And the guard is just looking at him like, no, you're not. No, sorry, can't allow you in there. Nobody's allowed in there. Nobody's allowed in there.
We're literally under contract to go in and recover stuff.
He looks
which is
at the
fine.
contract.
If you want to pay our fee, then I'm okay with that. We just want to get paid. So do you have 30% of potentially endless wealth on you, just in your pocket change?
Oh, what are you? 30% of what?
I'll just roll up the contract.
Oh, let me take a look at that.
See here, the signature by your boss.
No, I think you faked that.
Do we need to go get him? Think it through. Let's play this tape through.
He's looking kind of nervous.
We go get him. Rouse him from his very important work. He has to come out here and explain, yes, these are the people that I just contracted with. And he's like, did you show them the contract? And I'm like, yes. And then he's like, did you show them the signature? And I'm like, yes. And then what did they say? So, oh, he probably faked it. Not thinking like, how would we know? How would we know what his signature even looks like? Why would we be so all fired to go in? Oh, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. These people must be fools. Yes, I think they must be fools. They probably should be fired from their jobs. Yeah, I think they should be fired from their jobs. Do you like eating? Having a safe place to sleep? Roof over your head? Time off? Paid vacation?
As you were saying all of that, his face went from a really stern look, and like he was just kind of like, and he was kind of like the color was draining out, and he was taking him. It was kind of starting to look more defeated, and just like.
How about this? When we come back, we will report to the head honcho that you were very assiduous in your duty.
Assiduous?
You did a good job. How about we put in a good word for you and tell him you did a good job?
He looks over at the friend that he's with, and they kind of go huddle up on the other side of the sawhorse. After a little bit, they look around. Okay. I don't get paid enough for all that.
I know.
We didn't let you in. Like, if you get hurt, we're not going in there. It's the same deal we told the others. If you get hurt in there, you're on your own. We've sent some teams in there. They did not come back. It is dangerous in there. Be careful.
Yeah. You mean like it always is?
Yes. How many other teams did you send down there or have passed through?
Oh, well, there was the one the day ago that it was a team that went in. They were supposed to just go in a couple rooms and then report a couple, like, just see what's there, look for enemies, don't engage, come back out. They never went back out. A couple hours later, we sent in another team. Then, looking for the first ones, they didn't come back either. And he doesn't say anything, but he looks around. You can see that he like glances at where he and his companion were sitting by the fire, and he and to the bag where he had stowed something. There might have been one or two parties of ruins people who, we can't always keep a constant watch on the door. Sometimes people just sneak by us.
And if they happen to drop chocolate chip cookies, then whose business is that?
Oh, I mean, I'm more of an oatmeal raisin guy myself, but my partner, he loves a peanut butter no bake.
Like peanut butter sandies, those are so delicious.
Yeah. So, okay. Yep, you're free. You go on in. How long do you plan on staying in there?
Forever. Or maybe
that's probably gonna happen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't wait up. It's all good. You guys are off shift here in a bit anyway, so don't worry about it.
Okay. The two of them go back towards their spot by the fire. They're just ignoring you now.
God, there's a whole crew of random people in here. This is how those rabbits got in last time that we had to save from those friggin' millipedes or whatever they were. Ugh. Anyway, well, when we control this ruin, we will institute policies that actually make sense. You can make signs and things like you have to be this tall to enter this ruin. Gia, I'm sure you'd enjoy that.
Oh, there are some.
I mean, a little.
I mean, how dare you? Yes,
height doesn't. How dare you? But true. However, the height of adventurers is greatly varied, so the quality of the adventure is not determined by their height. I don't think there's any correlation.
Sounds like something a short person would say.
I'm not that short.
That's fine. I don't know. Anyway, everyone's short to Leos, who is, by the way, 9 feet tall. So it's fine.
Yep. Throgs never stop growing. They are the kind of orc legs of this setting, and they have horns and tails, and they just always keep growing. So you can always tell a Throg's age by its height.
Also, Morvins, I long suspected you were my favorite Badger folk, but now that I've met another one, you definitely are. That one didn't even offer us any muffins.
An all-around terrible person.
I think so. They deserve what they get. All right.
As you enter,
it's always enjoyable to watch Kenzo work.
As you start entering the ruins, there's a straightaway kind of that leads down into the ruins, and you can see that there's no lights or anything inside. The very, very entrance of the, kind of where the door is going back forward, there's, like I said, there's kind of scuffs and footprints and dirt tracked in a little ways, and then over, kind of trails off. You can also see that there are there are some marks in the stone here and there that look like something sharp was dragged along them. You can see that there are kind of swept against the sides. There are some piles of small glass coins that you've seen here and there being gathered and stuff like that. As you enter you've all got your torches in hand. There's no natural light or anything inside of this. You're making your way down through the hallway. And it's not long before you end up reaching a crossways, an intersection. Maybe it's about 100, not 100, maybe like 50 feet into it. It's dark. The light behind you can still see the light from the entrance, but it's just a small little far away and fading as night comes on glimpse of the light outside. There is a way to your left of you and to your right, and then also a way forward.
Well, first things first. Stand still, Morphins. I'm going to pull out a little amber comb and zap it with a little electricity and then brush Morven so he gets very floofy. Well, it's to attract the dust.
Oh, right, yes. You can see that as you've done this, there is a little bit of, like if you stand really still and you look around at the air, there's almost like an air currents that are coming towards Morven's, and you can see that there's a little bit of a, almost you're not even sure if you're fooling yourself, but there is almost like an amber tinge to Morven's fur.
Is there like any sign of where might the other adventuring groups have gone?
Okay. Are you how are you looking around for this?
With magic, because why shouldn't I use magic? I assume I take out the swizzle stick and just kind of try, like a dowsing rod kind of action. Maybe the stones around here know something and I can commune with them.
Okay. So that sounds like you're going for a sense roll.
Yes, I would love to do that one.
Okay. You're always free to choose whatever role you want. You just have to justify it. Yeah, it's not going to be very hard to figure out like what's going on, but it's not like you'll have to do a little bit of like, it's not like you can just look and see.
Yeah, I got a 5 for the high.
Okay. So as you're looking around, you get the sense that there has been magic recently in the vicinity, particularly to my cat is sitting on my notes. To the left of you. So like, you're at the intersection from the perspective of like if south is the entrance that you came in and you are heading north up the hallway, kind of to the west/left, you're seeing there is a little bit of a response. You can tell that there has been disturbances in kind of the magical ether around you. There's not really anything that you can pick up to like ahead or to the right of you, maybe, but you're not sure if it's a false reading or not, but you're definitely getting some kind of ping from the west.
Is the stone that same kind of all one piece formed stuff from before?
Yeah, the same. Now that you're inside, it's similar to the very first ruin that you're in, where it looks like a massive monolithic piece of rock was carved through, and everything, the doors, there are This one looks like it was made more for, or the first one that you went in was kind of a like workers' barracks kind of a deal. It was especially set up for, you know, some of the like geometry and needs of a Zixo, you know, in lobster-like kind of environment. This one, it's looks not so much like workers, but more like a waiting room almost. There are some alcoves that are carved into the walls. That, you know, it's not like decorated exactly, but as also there's a degree of like attention to detail on, like, you know, how smooth are the corners, how clean are the edges. You can tell that this is a place that somebody was meant to visit, that, you know, they might stop and have a conversation along the way.
As folks are examining for clues and doing whatever, I'm gonna just walk over to one of the walls and do a little sparkle finger on it and then whisper, "I'm back," hoping to see if that same effect of the tracery of light, just repeating the procedure from the first one.
Yeah, you definitely get, it's almost like there's an after image, like out of the corner of your eye. Like it you can't even see it if you're looking right at it, but out of the corner of your eye there's like kind of an afterglow that is briefly visible at where you've traced your finger. There's something is something is capable of responding to you.
Yes.
It's not quite doing anything. It's not actively like not actually responding to you, but you can tell that it's kind of a similar system, that there is something here that somewhere that is set up to be interacted with. So as you all are standing around, you've got Kenzo looking at the wall. You've got everybody else. You've got Chia, who is doing some magical dowsing and has identified that there are things to the, you know, potentially has been magic cast recently off to the west. You can feel that there are some sounds that are like it's like a thud or a scrape, like, you know, it sounds almost like falling rock. Some of those sounds are coming from the west as well, but there's also ones coming from the north, the way forward. It's not like it's right in the next room, but you can kind of tell like something is moving further in.
With regularity or like random?
Unpredictably.
Okay. So not like thud. Got it.
Yeah, it's not like somebody's walking towards you or something large is walking around.
Right.
It's you know, you're not sure if it's a rock fall, if it's natural, or if it's something dangerous and purposeful.
Well, keep your eyes on the ceilings, fellows. We don't want any more giant toads coming out trying to kill us.
Shall we go the way where other people probably went, or should we go our own way? Maybe we can find them?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
The guards did say they were all dead, so maybe we'll find what killed them.
Yes.
Or they're just trapped. They could just be trapped. That's
Yes.
always an option.
If they're still alive, then we ought to free them if they are trapped.
Yes.
Hi.
And if they're dead, we can loot the bodies. I mean, return them to their loved ones.
I'm going to pretend I only heard the second option.
Good choice.
So we head to the west.
Okay. As you head to the west, there is you start to get a like dank animalistic smell. There is like a musk, but like a sour kind of musk. And as you're walking forward, it's maybe like 30 feet towards a closed door in the stone. And you can, as you approach the door, you can hear there's a couple more scrapes, and there's a faint hooting that you can hear as you all get close to the door. You're all kind of creeping up and sneaking and moving carefully, and you can hear that there's like I said, like a faint like hooting, like a hoo hoo, and a it sounds almost like there's some things being banged together or hit against rocks or something. There's metallic sounds. There's some rustling now and then, but the door is closed. They haven't really noticed you at all. What happens? Faint pooping. More of faint hooting.
Well, almost certainly monsters, right?
Would this kind of noise, would we have known what this might be from our previous experiences?
Oh, give me a roll.
All right.
Tell me about that.
I will use study to see if I remember reading about them. The answer is not really, as my highest one was a 3.
Yeah. So where's the thing I'm looking for? Yeah. It's definitely a monster. That's about all that you can really tell, but you didn't really need to like you're kind of thinking about the monsters that you've studied and the ones that you've encountered, and like you're kind of mentally paging through the bestiaries that you've seen. Nothing's really coming to mind.
Oh, I hope it's an owlbear.
Mainly.
If we can smell it, it can smell us. I am going to pull some herbs out of my pack and begin trying to blow a scent towards it.
Ooh. Are you trying to like hide your presence?
I was hoping to lure it out of wherever it is.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you're trying to like use some herbs and some ingredients to create like an enticing smell to lure whatever it is out.
Indeed.
I like this. Go ahead and roll it.
I'm going to use sense for this because I can smell what I'm doing, and I would like to push it, please.
Cool. Go ahead.
Three, which isn't good enough.
Yeah, you can Oh, I'm gonna I'm going to just do that real quick. I'll mind it. So as you're kind of wafting it, you can hear that there's a moment where all of the activity inside of the room kind of pauses and stops, and then it starts again, but more vigorously, more actively, and louder. It's like whatever was making that noise, like they're definitely alerted to your presence. There's something that they're aware of, but they're not coming out. They are it sounds like they're getting closer to the door, but they're not opening it.
Use wands, need to kick the door open.
Or just open it. It wouldn't have to be kicked down. Save the kicking for the enemies.
Okay.
So you're kicking the door, or are you just discussing what you want to do?
We were currently just discussing.
Okay.
But if
But
you kick
Leo's
it down, maybe it'll hit somebody.
Yes, that's true.
They're starting to howl now. It sounds like a small, like a kind of like a high pitched kind of howl, like an almost ape-like sound, like an angry monkey or something like that. And it's you can hear some kind of smattering of feet on the other side of the door.
Heck it, I'm kicking the door down.
Okay. So we all move into the shadows to hide.
Leos, sounds like you're smashing.
Okay. So that's 2 boxes, so that's 2 dice.
Correct.
The highest is a 4.
Okay. So, tell me how you're like narrate your kicking.
Running up, stopping, and like the side kick where you kick it, extend the
Okay,
leg
so
out.
like you kind of
with
walk
the-
up, you stance up, but like not like you stop and do it. You just kind of like smoothly come into a really powerful side kick.
Yeah.
So we got kind of like the camera is like seeing you like you kick, and then you're looking like the camera was kind of positioned behind you, and as you kick, you see the doors slam open. It's a powerful blow, and you do see that there are some small shapes that go flying as you. As the doors open, and in the flickering light of your torches and your lamps, you can see that it's small ape-like creatures that are like almost innumerable in number. That there are like it's not like it's filling the room, but you can see that's like what you can see through the door is maybe like a dozen small apes that are running around. Some of them are holding like very very roughly unwieldily holding like swords, and one of them has a spear, and one of them has like a helmet that it's on its head, and some others are kind of dragging around clothes that are way too big for them, and they're all kind of like running around, and they all look at the doors as they see you come in, and they all start like howling and staring at you as they are looking at you. You can see that on the other side, on the far wall, so this is a room that's maybe 20 feet across from the way that you're looking at it, and it extends to a ways that you can't see left and right. You can see that there are some vines or some roots that are growing along the far wall. But I think we'll probably go into some combat here. So one of them. So let me see. They're just gonna kind of will alternate back and forth because it's just a very large pack of enemies. Some of them are hit back. I am starting a 6 o'clock for this combat, and I'm going to say that your partial success gave you a single tick on that. But as you are kind of looking at all of these, you can see that some of them that were just far enough away from the door are they weren't hit by the door, and they luckily weren't hit by the one that Leo sent flying. But two of them, one of them is holding a small dagger in its hands. It looks like a proper longsword, and another one that is holding a club that's kind of dragging behind it. They start running forward towards you all. And they start rearing up, and they take aim at Leos's shins. Basically, they are attempting to whatchamacallit? Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Apologies, I have to look something up real quick.
I'd like to say it'd be funny if Leos is just like, "Aw, cuties."
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that they have 2d6. Roll a die. Give me this. Give me this. These guys are not very great. So the highest they got was a partial success. So one of them starts, like they are hitting at your shins basically. They are like one of them is kind of trying to like whack at you with the dagger. The other one is trying to like, it can't really swing it very fast, so it's not very hard, but it's swinging its club around and trying to hit you in the knee. They do kind of connect. It's not too bad. It's not too painful, but it's not like great either. Leos, take 1 strain. So that was kind of the monkeys and the apes. As they all do their turn, you can see that the roots that you saw on the far wall, they kind of quiver a little bit. As you so whoever. So the way it will do this is it'll be like back and forth, not like an initiative order. I'll leave it all up to you who wants to go first, but we'll go through like flip-flopping back and forth until everyone has gone, and then we'll restart the process. Does that make sense? Okay. Who's up next? Who was standing right after Leos?
I would like to...
Don't go in the room. It'll turn you into monkey.
I would like to go up right beside Leos, step forwards just ahead of them, and I am a badger in a set. My fur is standing on end, and I am covered in orange, which looks a little like blood, and I am going to growl.
Ooh. Okay.
And I got a 5 for that.
Okay. So... one... So they look, they kind of shrink back when you roar, and you can see that like the ones that are right there, they're terrified to have a badger that is like screaming in their face. The ones that are a little bit further away, they kind of see that like, clearly like there are other much taller and larger people and more like, physically more imposing. So they don't, the ones that are like further away from you all don't look very impressed, but the ones that are like right up against Leos, they're like proper scared and they're backing away from you. As they're backing away, you can see that there's a little bit of like a gust of air that comes towards you all, and there's a little bit of, as you're looking at the gust, like it's not even sure like where it's coming from or like what's causing it, but there's some pollen that is coming through on the air. Everybody give me a well, no, it's up to you. Or no, actually, because we're not. No, but that's the best way to handle this. Ooh, Leos, you are in front. Or no, so never mind. Sorry, I just can't make up my mind. Morvins, you are in front. It is attempting. Oh, sorry. Cat didn't like me moving. I'm gonna say that it is. Oh, Morvins. As this is standing there, or as you're kind of standing there, you've just finished roaring and you've scared off a few of the apes. This gust of wind comes by you, and it's almost like you don't get a chance to like hold your breath or anything, but you can just see that there's a pollen that is on the air that's coming through, and like as you take a breath, almost involuntarily, you can. It's like it goes right to your head. You're feeling a little bit of like everything about you is just a little bit weaker, like you woke up from a nap at the wrong time, that you're just not really feeling with it. And you are not incapacitated, but you are weakened right now by the pollen.
I sort of fall sideways into the door frame so that other people can get past me. Is that a strain?
Not a strain, but you will have reduced effect on the next, like the next roll that you do. It will have reduced effect, and potentially other bad things can happen. Like if you get the sense that you don't want to breathe another one of those. Like you don't want to get another whiff, another lungful of whatever that was.
Yeah, or you'll be monkeyfied. I told you. These are clearly the people who came down here. They got turned into monkeys. Chia, do you have your fancy pruning shears?
Yeah.
We got to take out those roots, man. Got to trim them.
Are you sure that's the most effective? Like, what if that's part of the ecosystem here?
Well, the ecosystem is trying to turn people into monkeys. I'm not concerned about preserving it.
Just try not to become a monkey, Morvins.
Cinnabon, direct your men with torches to go and burn those vines.
Behind you, you can see the Cinna is like looking aghast at the for all his bluffing, it looks like he's never actually seen combat, and just this little bit of it is like he's just kind of looking like oh, okay, and he turns and he nudges one of his bodyguards. Go take a torch and go run in there and go, I don't know, burn that thing. The guard is like, oh, I don't get paid enough for this, and he kind of drops his pack on the ground behind him, limbers up, and he starts running forward, and you can tell he's looking left and right, he's dodging monkeys. Let me go ahead and say, yeah, he is fully successful at dodging the monkeys. Like they're attacking him, they're trying to. They're all missing, or he dodges around them out of range, and he gets to the other side, and you can tell that he's slowing down a bit as he gets to the other side, and he's holding up the torch against the wall. You can see that the roots are like everywhere, and they're moving even as he's standing there. And then as he's kind of holding it up, and he kind of collapses and sinks down to the ground.
It's hard to get a good help. But the torch is still lit and it's nearby, right?
Yeah, the torch is kind of leaning against the wall. It is, he kind of started to burn something, but you couldn't really, he didn't really get much of a chance to burn anything before he passed out.
And the wall is the same stone as the rest, right?
It's the same stone as the rest. It's just got weird roots growing on it.
Gia, what if we wake up the wall and make it all nice and toasty?
Well, listen, right now, I mean, we can try. It didn't seem very localized before, but and I would like to try a study action to set up Kenzo's plan of how to best deal with plant and pollen.
Okay.
Leo's probably has the monkeys.
Yeah.
Okay. So are what kind of things about the situation are you studying?
I would like to see, I assume that the source of the pollen is the roots. And it'd be good to study to see, when the guard ran up, did it direct more pollen at him? Were these roots, actively acting against, a perceived threat? Did it think the fire was threatening? Or is it just sort of it's moving things, pollen?
Yeah. Okay. So you're thinking in the moment, you're looking at something specific that you can actually look at. I think this is going to be like, standard effect on this. So go ahead and roll it.
All right. I got a 5 as the top one.
Okay. So from what you can tell, like you were watching as he was running forward, and you could see, like, you actually, like, Chia, you spotted a cloud of pollen that was coming from the right of him. Like, there was a particularly strong kind of, like, waft of the pollen that came. It didn't look like it came from the roots specifically, but you can tell that, like, as the air was moving, it's almost like the roots are, like, trying to, like, wave the air around. Like, it's the roots that are moving the air, but they're not what's making the pollen.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna say, what was your highest?
5.
Was that a full or a mixed success?
That is a mixed success.
Okay.
I think the only full success is 6.
Okay. Yes. So, as you're looking around, you can see that, like, I'm kind of imagining that, like, Leos is still kind of, like, poised and prepared, probably, like, fending off, like, 1 or 2 attacks. Kenzo and Chia are looking from behind Leos, and Morven's at kind of the field and everything. Cinna is still, like, aghast, and he's looking at everyone from behind all of you. He and his remaining bodyguards are kind of like Looney Tunes, or like Scooby-Doo stacked up behind Kenzo's back. So I believe that's everybody, but oh yeah, sorry. So you start to hear like a rustling noise that is whatchamacallit, coming from forward and off to the right, and at the sound of that rustling noise, you hear all of the monkeys that are looking around. They kind of like some of them were still running around doing whatever, and they all of them kind of stop what they're doing, and they're all like staring straight at you and starting to converge on your party all as one. Like it's you can see that there's like 10, 20, 30 that are all coming into view, and like all like clearly focused on you and your party. I think, Kenzo, you're the only one who has not done something.
Yeah, so Chia, you noted that the puff of pollen came from somewhere outside
yes,
our
the roots
vision.
Aren't the source of the pollen. They're just directing it.
Okay. This is probably stupid. So Kenzo goes down into, a sprinter stance, and then I think does the bolt of lightning hop. Just turns into a bolt of lightning, then pop, 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 kind of into the room, and then in slow time turns in the direction where we saw where Chia said that the puff of pollen came, and is looking for a target.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. So as you do this, I believe you just do
It's Excel.
so that'll give me an Excel roll.
Yep. I'm gonna push it.
Okay.
I'm
think
gonna spend
if
effort.
my action's a setup, then you can get an extra die from it.
Okay. So that's 4d6 total?
Yep. Ho, 2 4s and 2 6s, baby.
Oh, that is a crit success. So, armed with this foreknowledge from Chia, you kind of pinpoint like, who I can kind of see the size of the building, and thinking about it, like, this is a really kind of dangerous thing that you were doing, trying to like zap into an unknown area, but miraculously, luckily, it's perfect. You zap forward, and at blinding speed, like you realize, like you find yourself standing in the middle of a long kind of not passageway, but like a long gallery room almost. To the sides of you, you can see the tables and alcoves that are set into the sides of the room. You can see that there are kind of tables that are set up like stone tables hewn from the rock and kind of like upright that are running down the center of the room. But what captures your attention most of all is a plant that you can see at the very far end of it. It's maybe 10 feet ahead of you. You can see that it is it's large. It has like blood red kind of petals that you can just barely make out the color of in like the from the residual glow from your lightning. You can see that it has kind of a in the cavern or in the center of it, where instead of like a the center of a flower, it's got like a cavity, and you can see that like from inside of that cavity, like the petals, the very large petals, the whole thing is like 10 feet across. It is kind of like brushing the air and pushing air towards you, and all of the roots are radiating around from where it's growing on the wall, and the pollen is kind of pouring out in kind of like those like when people do those neat like incense things that look like the smoke is going down a waterfall. It's like that, but it's pollen coming out of the open cavity of this flower. And the flower, like as soon as you flash into being, there is a spare like jolt of lightning that kind of crackles from you towards it, and you can see that one of the petals gets like singed off. And as that happens, you can see that this because you got a crit success, this you don't recognize what it is, but you do see that it is it looks really wilted. It looks kind of sad, like like a house plant that hasn't been watered for a couple weeks, and it really needs to be. Something it's not great. It's just a sad looking plant, but it's definitely still dangerous. So as you're standing there, the monkeys are all like walk they're half of them are looking around at you, and they're kind of trying to trace where the lightning went, and they look and see like half of them are looking towards you and half of them are looking towards the party. The corpse flower it's going to send another gust, like it kind of flaps its petals, and it's going to send a gust of spores at you, Kenzo. So what I think, how are you going to react to this cloud of spores?
Acrobatically dodging.
Okay.
And of course throwing off little bolts of lightning as I go.
Okay.
I'm in Thor
Go
mode.
ahead and give me a roll.
Yep, I'll add an effort to this one too. Yep, 1-6.
Okay.
2 ones.
The cloud goes right by you. This close to it, it's such a almost coherent like stream that it's not hard to just kind of fade around it. Clearly keeping people away while it puts them to sleep is its typical way of acting. You're able to get right up next to it. And as once you get within striking distance, you can you hear like all of the apes, all of the small monkeys are just furious as soon as you get near it. And all the rest of you can see that like they're not paying attention to you any longer. They're looking somewhere off to the right that you can't see. Who is next?
I believe it's Leos's turn.
Yes.
So Can I take this opportunity to use Atlas to attempt to shoot fire at the, I guess, now giant horde of monkeys?
Yeah, go ahead and so how are you? Let me see. That sounds to me like a tinker. 1 second. Action roll. Let me see. Yeah, so that sounds to me like a tinker roll. So like Atlas is, it doesn't have its glory that it used to have, but lately it's been doing some really weird things. And as you are, you're holding it, you know that like there's a certain way that you're supposed to like hold it and grip it and squeeze and turn it to activate it. So you know how to like get it to do that. It's just a question of like, does it actually work? Are you successful in getting it to emit fire in the moment? So in terms of like interacting with old technology, that sounds to me like a tinker, but I'm open to like whichever action category you would like to approach it with.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it up. So you, looks like, are not trained in tinker, but if you want to use some effort on this, you can add some dice so that you're not rolling with disadvantage.
So can I use one effort?
Yeah, so if you roll one effort, then you will be rolling just 1d6, and whatever the result is, it'll roll with it.
Okay. We'll roll 1d6.
Oh, and if you want to use a major boon, that'll give you a dice.
I'll also use the major boon then. So it's 2d6.
And if you spend effort, it makes it 3d6.
You can't get more than a +2 on anything, or a +2 dice.
Got it.
Okay. That's a 6 and a 1.
Ooh, nice. So as you're looking at the you're standing there, you kind of come back down from the sidekick position, you bring Atlas around, you're kind of preparing to activate it. There's a moment of hesitation where you're not sure if you got it right, because like you definitely turned it and squeezed it the right way, but there's not fire shooting out. It's just kind of looking, and then there's a beat goes by and it starts glowing, and then fire just kind of like rushes out of it. It produces like a stream of fire that's maybe around like 10 feet across. There's like a fireball that rushes out, and it catches most of the monkeys that had been like gathered in front of the doorway. It catches them all in its path, and then like after the light fades away and you're looking and trying to like you're blinking from the sudden bright light, and you're looking, you can see that like all of the apes are there are some that are are singed and burnt and fallen on the ground, but most of them are like shrieking and running away, and they're scampering, and you can see that there's like they're all rushing into like some holes that have been dug into the walls. So with that, as the rush of fire also had because you got a 6, let's say the fire also had a nice side benefit that it kind of cleared out and burned away a lot of the spores that were in that room. So Kenzo, you can see, like, you hear this enormous like rush of air and explosion coming from behind you, and like heat and wind blowing at you. Chia and Morvens, you can see that Morvens, you were a little bit lightheaded, you're starting to come out of it. Chia, you you just kind of are watching this happen, and so yeah, Kenzo, like you are standing in front of this large flower, you have a moment of safety. So we're no longer in kind of the narrative combat piece, so it's all up to you to however you want to proceed forward.
Oh. I will pull out a water skin. And I'm going to try to charm the plant. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on my hands and like spramp it on my face and kind of shake it towards it. And if it starts to leak out spores, I pull it back until the spores stop leaking out. Then I reach it forward.
I love this. I'm gonna say that this is gonna be difficult. So this is gonna be a -1 die to, so like whatever you would normally roll, it's gonna be like 1 less than that. Just because like it's an inhuman kind of monster creature, like it's definitely reacting and understanding like, oh, there's water there and I want it, but the water's going away. Whether that's going to translate into like understanding the bargain you're trying to drive here, it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Cool. And I will also spend a major boon.
Okay.
Yes. Cool. So I'm spending another effort.
Okay, so that's a total of +1. So +1 die to your whatever your action rating is. I assume is charm.
Yes, 3. Yeah, so it's total 4 dice.
Okay.
Because charm is my jam. 1 6, 2 5s and a 1.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So it takes a little bit. But you
like trying to train it Pavlovian response style.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna say this is not an immediate thing. You are definitely successful in doing this. Like it's it takes a little bit. It's got some pollen. There's a little pile kind of built up on the floor underneath it. After a little bit from all the times that you like failed it, but after maybe like 10-15 minutes you've got it trained. It is you're able to get really close. There's even one moment where you're able to like kind of touch it, and you can feel that it's leathery but kind of withered and shrunken flesh. It's just moving its flower kind of face towards the water flask. What's everybody else doing while this is going on?
Hey, Morvins, are you feeling okay?
I'll be fine.
All right.
I just need to have a drink and I'll be ready to go in a moment.
And how about that guard over there on the ground?
Oh,
Do you think he's okay?
I will scuttle over and have a look.
As you approach, Cinna is just looking at the entire room from the far side, and he kind of is like holding back his guards and saying like, "No, stay here with me. Don't go in there." As you approach the guard, you can see that there is his chest is rising and falling. This particular one is a mouse folk who is mouse folk who is standing there. And you hear Cinna call, or so one of the other guards that is with Cinna call out, "Matthias, are you okay?" And the mouse folk is just completely unconscious, breathing, alive, You can see that they're like the torch is guttering out where it's kind of landed on the ground. You can see that they're probably going to have like a nasty bruise on where they kind of landed against the stone, but they're alive.
He'll be fine. He just needs to sleep it off. And I am going to sling this mouse over my back.
Okay. Okay.
Hey Morvins, toss me an empty jar or something.
No problem.
Eyeing that pile of pollen.
Yeah. So it's easy enough to collect the pollen. It's got kind of an almost those kids' toys where it's got the really shimmery liquid that looks like it's all kind of ever swirling. It's like that, but like if it was just a dust that was in the air. It's almost, it wafts very easily, but you're able to like carefully put the jar over it and slide like a piece of cloth or your hand under and collect most of it.
Now, would you say that my actions got me in trouble with something powerful?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So the thing, this, now that you have a moment, let me see, now the combat is over, and you have a moment to reflect on what has happened. You can see, this potentially was very bad. You're flashing back, you're thinking of like books that you've read and bestiaries, and it's like you're sitting there, you're standing, you're watching Kenzo and you're watching it move around, and he's doing his dance with the water skin, and you realize this is something called a Nyala's corpse flower, but a very small and pathetic looking example. Like, you've heard descriptions of this that like, heroes of the realm might be capable of fending off like a full grown and healthy one of these. That it's a carnivorous flower that puts its enemies to sleep with its pollen and pacifies them and sends them into a sleep that they can't escape from, and then it grows over them and starts consuming them. If this had been in full bloom in kind of not in the middle of a stone cave, you all would have been in a lot of trouble.
And it doesn't look like it's recently eaten. It's not like there's a bunch of adventurers under its roots or anything, right? Right?
There are there's a couple mounds that are against the far wall, like kind of in the corners. Like it's got some roots growing over some mounded up stuff.
Well, I was let Kenzo do Kenzo's things.
Look, some of my best friends are corpse flowers.
Yeah. I will not investigate further. I don't want to make it angry while Kenzo's doing things by poking at its food source. Though I'll probably at some point to Morvins and Leos while Kenzo's collecting pollen and stuff be like, the other adventures are probably, at least one group's probably those lumps over there. It eats people. I don't really want to investigate. Maybe we should. It might make the flower angry, so we'll wait until later.
We can't do anything for the dead anyway.
Also, do you think they know that Atlas is Atlas now?
Yeah.
Those guys do.
Yeah, as you're looking around, you can see that like Cinna and the others are like, they're all kind of looking at you with like awe and like respect, like, oh, like they're very interested in you and your weapon. Cinna is kind of sidling up to Leos and kind of poking them in the hip, because that's as far up as they can reach. Are you sure you don't want to sell that? Because I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's not just a replica.
Me sure, young laddie. This was my father's. Twill be a travesty if I sell me father's old spear.
He looks at you a little like he's trying to be like stone faced, but you can tell he's like thinking about something. He's like, okay. Well, that was horrifying. I mean, but I'm pretty sure that's not what we came for. So let's move on. And you all please go in front again, because that was horrible. Do you do this every time you go into one of these places?
Make friends? Yes, of course.
Okay. I want to just go back to okay, when this mission is over, I am going back to the store, not doing this adventuring stuff.
That sounds like 5% commission thinking to me.
Yes.
We're going to have a conversation about like hustle
Yeah.
culture. We need you to get into it, right?
Yeah, I got to start hustling.
I bet you're the type who's like, oh, Monday. It's like, no, we need you to be like up at 4 a.m. like
I hate
shadow
Mondays.
boxing in the middle of an empty street, you know, getting your groove on in the morning so you can attack the week. We talk about day trading.
Do you have a device that lets you fight with shadows?
No. I mean, just like practicing, right? And like affirmations.
Practice.
Yeah.
I like to practice.
Look, there's this course that I've been working on. Of course, I am, a hugely successful adventurer. And what I've done is I've distilled all the secrets of becoming a successful and profitable adventurer into a lovely 60-hour course. All you have to do is sign up and agree to a auto-renewing subscription, and you'll receive all of my tutelage, and then you'll become, you'll get that Lambo, man.
Okay. Do you have a card? You have a card?
Yeah.
I'll talk to you once we're out of this and we're alive and safe. I'm very interested. I might want to sign me and my friends up.
The website is gettingdollars.com.
Okay. So there's not much else that you can see in the room besides, the leaving, or whatever the monkeys left behind, which is mostly just abandoned adventurer equipment, the flower that you've tamed, and the pollen that you've taken. Is there anything else that you all want to do before we move on?
I thought about coaxing it to, it's a little bit too big, but I thought about coaxing it to get into Chia's pot and we could carry it with us.
Yeah, crossbreed the ever-growing plant with the corpse flower. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah. If we don't set this entire place on fire and sterilize it, then we can work on that hybridization. Although I have this jug full of the sleepy powder, that'll be useful.
It will be useful. So are you trying to take a clipping, or
I don't think I like it.
No,
Okay.
we don't.
I mean, I built a rapport, but not enough to let me amputate a piece of it off. I don't think.
So as you all are walking, making your way back towards the central hallway, you can see that there are there's a couple more scratch marks that you can see on the floor. This time in the very center of kind of the intersection that you were at. You had all been standing there trying to decide, like, while Chia was doing her dowsing rod adventure, looking around, and as you so like you all got a pretty good look, and the scratches on the floor that you can see, they're brand new, weren't there before.
Are they north, south, east, west type thing? When we first approached the passage, there were 3 directions to go. left, right, and ahead. Are these scratches aligned in one of the directions?
They look like they're aligned towards the kind of north ways that goes further into the ruins,
Or possibly out?
or possibly out.
Well, we didn't like the guards anyway. Can I see any signs of the monkeys passing here?
No, there's no signs of the monkeys around.
The monkeys are just in the walls. As they do. Well, we heard the weird noises coming from the straight ahead direction as we entered in. So we might as well investigate that weird noise area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As you make your way forward, you come towards a let me see. You come towards a small kind of maybe like 10 feet on a side square room, and there are two doors that kind of branch off to the left and right. There's not like doors, but like a doorway that go kind of like northwest, northeast from you. And in the center of the center of this small vestibule, there is a small statue, a small pedestal that comes up to maybe about like chest height, and then kind of right in front of it, or rising from the top of it, is it looks like a stone representation of two gears that are interlinked with each other. They are kind of enchanted so that they are like they're seamless in their construction, but they're like intertwined like magician's rings, and each of them are floating. There's a faint kind of green glow from each of them as they're floating, and they're constantly turning.
Ooh. I run over to the stand in front of the glowing rings, because this looks like it should be cataloged.
Absolutely. You know, you're standing there, you're sketching it, you're taking notes.
Yeah.
What if, Chia, you used your ability to speak to the stone to, like, you know, speed it up or something?
Speed up what?
What
is
the spinny?
The spinny? Well,
Yeah, they're spinning. They're spinning awfully slow.
Yeah.
I just think interesting what happened if they spun faster.
Well, I mean, it's just like a projection, right?
Tink, tink.
Like,
You tap
gears.
it, you see one of them kind of like gently sways in the air and just like gradually settles back to its original position, and it's turning at a slow rate.
Oh, are there like any sockets anywhere like that we can move these and then they magically move and they activate some sort of mechanism? Like a death ray?
You don't see anything in this room that looks like that.
Ooh. Ooh, maybe they're like the ignition keys for an unstoppable juggernaut.
Probably not that. Is there any like writing of some kind?
There is some writing that is going down the it's kind of like a vertical like line of characters that's going down the each side of the pedestal. It's not it's a very kind of ornate script, and it's a little bit difficult to make out. Do you think that you would speak? How familiar are you with the language of the old Arkan Empire? Like, would you have studied? Like, it is something that is absolutely something that you could have, that you as a chronicler could have studied and be familiar with, like some of the language. But is that something that Chia would have done?
I think so, because I think part of her mission is sort of like she is out here trying to learn more about the ruins that pop up, so that way she can write like a dissertation on something about it to report back to her chronicler group, so that way she can get a promotion from mere scribe to the next level.
Okay.
Is kind of like she's at a level where I think that's something that this is like part of her focus on her studies, as opposed to staying in their cloister.
Okay. So what you can see, give me a study, I think, because this is it's not like it's a very technical kind of way of like you can recognize it as the language. You think that you might be able to figure out what it's saying, but it'll take a little bit of studying because it's very technical or specific. There's some words in there that like you have not come across before.
Yeah, and that seems likely. I got a 4 as the high part of the roll, partial success.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, so you are able to decipher part of it, and as you're looking at it, it's saying something like example of the device, and there's something else about archive, something. It's not quite like it's making references to like completion of the project and a purpose that it was built for, but you're not really sure what it's for. It's about the best that you can get.
I get the gist, and it's one of those things where I'm taking the notes, and then she is going to highlight, like, okay, I'll have to look up this word later, and I'll have to look up that word later. But I'm like, okay, so this is just an example. So maybe this is a small replica of the larger device. We could take this back if we could move them out of here as part of the infinite profit reward thing.
Well, but remember,
I don't know if they'll move, though.
Well, we can try, but remember the last time we ran into a miniature version of something.
I don't.
When we ran into a miniature, like little maquette of this entire facility and then turned it on.
Yeah.
So maybe
But this one's so much smaller, right?
But maybe it's like a control interface. I was saying before.
It could be. I don't know why they would just say example, but maybe the other devices are past it. And they're anyway. I'm just gonna go over and do what Kenzo suggests, which is talk at the stone to try to make it go faster.
Okay. That
I don't know if Earth Speech were. I have an ability called Earth Speech, which means I can just talk to rocks.
Okay.
They might not be rocks though, so they might not listen.
Is that let me see. Let me look at your sheet. Earth Speech. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, you can talk to rocks.
I can talk to rocks. They might not speak a language. They might just give me vibes.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me. Are you listening? Are you like actually trying to like interface with it? I'm trying to think of like, do you think this is more of like a tinker or a study?
Probably more like a study, because I don't really like, it's just sort of like, hey, can I talk to you guys? Like, how are you doing? How are you spinning? You know, just trying to, and maybe gentle poking. I'm not really trying to magic at the spinning rocks.
Okay, this is a pretty
gears.
Low key kind of like, there's not any a danger or anything. So like if you succeed, it'll be pretty clear.
Looks like I got a 5. So partial.
Yeah. So as you're trying to channel your energy towards the device, it's tougher than you would expect, because like it's kind of like it's made of rock. It looks like the same rock that everything else here is made out of, but it clearly has like, you know, as you're getting close, there's like filigrees of glow along the edge. Like it's clearly been worked in a way, and the device itself, like there's a brief a brief flash of a connection that you can feel to something large, something that is you have a feeling, you have a sense of like impossible to resist movement, like implacable movement, that something is like, it's almost like you can feel like your soul is turning and it'll never stop turning. That's kind of the vibe that you get. And then there's like that flash of understanding kind of disappears, and what you're feeling as, you know, once that's gone is that the device you're looking at has a connection. Whatever that feeling was, it's connected to it, but it's very much a receiver of it. It's not like it's not talking back to whatever that was. It's more that it's tapping into something.
Spinning forever. I wonder if this is more of a view. It does seem, I'm feeling like it might be connected to a larger device, Kenzo.
Yes.
Like before.
Yes.
But not, it's just like a reflection of it. So you can look at it without seeing it. Like it doesn't go back. It's one way.
Oh, like a monitor.
Like it's it's like a pressure on it. So that's probably why and I'll do the same thing Kenzo did, was like kind of like poke, like hold it for a sec, and then it, I presume, wobbles back into its position. It's like, so it just wants to keep doing this.
I see. To reflect the larger main one.
Yes, wherever that is.
Probably in the center.
And if there are enough of these devices, then the larger one probably depends upon sending energy through to turn these, maybe. Like, if you remove them all, it might overload.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Well, there's 2 different hallways and 2 different gears, so I wonder if there's more behind the doors then.
Yes. Let's check it out.
You can see, as you're looking through kind of the doors angled off, each of them goes a short distance and then terminates in a curved pathway. It's open doors and halls. Are you all going down through the passages?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's pick a side. The
Let's
left.
do the left-hand side, right?
Okay. So as you go to the left, there is you go through to the northwest. Everything is still. Everything is quiet. The air feels closed in. Like there's a claustrophobic feeling to the air as you're going forward. It's a little bit stuffy. There's dust, like you can see traces of magical dust and regular dust, not pollen, just crud. As you're going forward, there's 1 or 2 more of those like almost rock falls of like a something is stone scraping against stone almost. You can hear coming from behind you, from the vestibule that you just left. But as you're going forward, you find yourself coming out onto it looks like to be a circular passage. You can see that it curves around to the left and right, and all along the wall here are it's bookcases that are worked into the side. There's like moldering old texts that are filling the bookcases, that here and there they've been like strewn about. None of them look readable, really. Like clearly this is monsters have been here for a long time. Like they're ripped up, they're like peed on, they're half eaten, they're moldy. The piles of them have been turned into nests for animals. But you can see that there's like on the outer walls are these bookshelves. On the inner walls of this circular passageway are more of those benches that are set so that you can sit down, but also some small little study alcoves that are set into the wall. As you all make your way around, you can see that you pass a passageway that leads. It looks like it leads into the center of where you're walking, and it you're kind of like it's a circle, and then there's a passageway that leads in towards the center of it, and you can see that the curve kind of goes around the top. Do you all go into the center, or are you keeping going around the curve?
Are any of the titles of the books visible? Like, the dust covers might be more prone to survival than pages.
Yeah. If you want to, you can see that it's some of the books. You get the feeling that you could probably figure out what some of them say. If you know the language. So Chia, you could probably try and decipher some of these books, but the Morvans, I'm not sure. It would be a little bit harder for you, I think, because you don't have the kind of the academic background that Chia has. But you might be able to make a go of it if that's what you want.
This place is great. I love this place. This is excellent. I'm going to probably take a few books of like just scanning titles, and the ones that I'm like, I can read most of that title, I'm just going to pocket that book.
Okay.
Obviously I can't carry them all. But I'll note that they exist. So I'll probably just have a couple random ones that are probably the least technical of the bunch.
Okay.
Is my guess, is what I would probably gravitate towards. I will not read them right now, though, because we are kind of doing things. Yeah. We probably want to make a full circuit. If this is a full circle, we probably want to walk around all the way around before we go in the center.
Yeah, just in case.
Just before that happens, I would like to put the book that the Overgrowth gave me into a place where Chia took a book. Nestle it in there right between two other books to see if anything happens.
Jeff just gave us a look, and I'm scared.
No, I love this. As you put the book in, so the book was kind of like a very almost crudely bound book. That like it looks nice, but it is like not, it's not like somebody put like many hours and hours of work into making it look nice. It's a very kind of utilitarian kind of binding, and as you kind of slot it into place, there's a moment where there's like almost a flash of light, but not with light, more like you have to close your eyes for a second, like something flashed, but you didn't see what it was, and all of a sudden, like you don't see the book anymore. It's there is a book there where you put the book, but it's not the book that you just put there.
I'm going to remove that book and flip it open and see what it is.
No, you pick it up. As soon as it leaves the shelf, it loses its appearance. It's once more, it's the book that you looked at when it was like you had opened up your pack. You saw this was the book that Pura gave you, and it looks just like that again.
Interesting. I believe Chia wanted to go around the circle.
Yeah. As you all make your way around the circle, so you go around, you're almost all the way around, and you can see that you're kind of getting the sense that there's like two interlocking circles that are like it's the layout of these circles is mirroring the device itself. They're the example of the device itself that you saw in the vestibule. So it's got two kind of intersecting like a Venn diagram, and you make a circuit of it, and you can see that there is there's like in kind of the almond shape where the two intersect. It's different. It's more of like a solid piece of rock. And instead of like the bookshelves and alcoves, there's kind of a seam at the floor, at the bottom of this kind of like, like wedge where the two circles intersect. But it's kind of clear that like what you're seeing is you're kind of walking around and you've just got these circles that are the hallways that are intersecting. As you are walking around, Cinna speaks up from behind you. I mean, we've been walking around for a bit. It seems pretty safe in here. I'm thinking maybe we could go like, I mean, if this is just the way, just like the if this other passageway, because you could see where the other circle intersected the one that you were on. We could go exploring the other circle and just see what's what.
Are you proposing to split the party, Senna?
I mean, maybe. I
mean, we could, but remember what they always say. Remember what Dungeon Hustler University taught you.
Okay.
Lesson number one. When things seem the safest is when they're actually the most dangerous.
Oh. So I should never sleep in my own home again. This is terrifying. I don't know if I can live with this knowledge.
I mean, it's life of the hustler, baby.
Ooh. Huh. He looks like you just told him that like the sky is green. Okay. Maybe I'll stick with you all. So what happens?
Well, do we go in the middle or do you want to go around the other circle?
We might as well do in the middle. And then
I mean, we're
move on to
in
the
your
other.
natural habitat here, so.
Well, we might as well. Leos, could you grab that book? Yeah, that one over there, Leos. Thanks.
Okay. Grabs it.
Perfect. I bet you can carry a lot more books than I could. Maybe I'll save that for the other circle.
Okay.
Chia is supermarket sweeping this whole place.
Well, we have all these guards that
Yeah.
literally aren't doing anything. We can load them up with books.
Yeah, Chia is just like grabbing a book, just like whoop, 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 and just like stacking them in the arms of the bodyguards.
By the way,
Yeah.
By the way, Leos, how big is your endure stat? She just needs to know for a moment.
3.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Really love that for carrying a lot of books out of here. All right, well we'll go into the middle of the left circle. Like we'll finish that circle.
Okay.
And then go into the middle passage for it.
So as you kind of go into the middle passage of the left circle, as you go, it's a tighter passage. It's maybe only like 5 feet wide. You can tell that there was once a door that blocked it off. Like this was not really like a completely public space for people to be. But you can see that there's some marks where like it looks like people have been swinging weapons inside this hallway, that there are like gouges where like a sword or something had been like swung in close quarters and ricocheted off the walls. But as you're going forward, at the far end you can see that there is a smaller room that has it's got a it looks like a stone book that is open, that is on kind of a, it's got another like little platform, and this is an enormous stone book that is like opened in the middle and evenly split, and you can see that there's like glowing symbols that are faintly appearing on the surface of the fake stone page that's visible. Like it slowly appears then goes away. It's some of them are the intertwined circles that you've seen. Some of them are there's some skulls that are showing up. There are some other, like there's like a quill that pops up. There's an image of a book. It's just kind of like almost like it's like a screensaver almost, kind of is the best way that I could put it for like a computer metaphor. But it's got like that. It's what you are faced with.
Cool.
Is
well,
it attached to anything?
Sorry, Leos, what was that?
Is the book itself attached to anything?
Yeah, so it's not a book so much. It's not like an actual book. It's more like they carved the piece of stone so that it looks like a stone book that's sitting in front of you.
So, looking around the rest of the room, this book is on a plinth in the center of the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the room decorated like? Is this does it look library-ish still, or?
It's very plain. There are some like racks that some like rusted swords and some spears are sitting in. Like the racks themselves are falling apart and like collapsing against the wall. There's you can see that there's some pieces of armor that are here and there scattered. You can see that there's it looks like this was a storeroom of some kind for weapons and armor. Or at least, not just that, but that is in part what this was.
Yeah, as Chia is notating down the symbols that are on the book, probably will also comment like, it's weird to have a library on the outside and some sort of guards room on the inside, don't you think?
Is it maybe like a panopticon?
A what?
A panopticon, like the prison where you put the guards in the middle and they can watch all the prisoners. Maybe it's like a librarian's panopticon where you sit here and you can monitor all the books that people are reading.
You could monitor the books, I guess. Librarians usually need swords, though, to stop people from reading the wrong book.
Maybe. We know a certain faction that likes to prevent the spread of information through underhanded means.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no faction like that.
Well, it's this old faction you probably never heard of.
Maybe it be a prison, but the guards make the prisoners read books.
Or it's a prison for ideas. Too dangerous to go into the rest of the world.
Anyway, I touched the book with the icons.
Okay.
Touch an icon? Does anything happen? Probably a book one.
Yeah, you touch the book icon. There is there's a kind of you touch the book icon, the icon fades, and you don't see anything for a moment, and then you see there is a large symbol that you recognize as kind of a general purpose, not even a word really. It's more of like a symbology. You recognize this as a symbol that basically means area closed, off limits.
Well, restricted knowledge seems like a thing. Does it like go back to the other icons after a moment, or does it just stay like that?
When it first appeared, it was like a bright red, and then after a while it's fading, and you can see that it's going from like red to orange and getting fainter and fainter.
I press that. I touch the red thing.
Okay. As you touch it, like it's right about to fade away and go completely black, and your finger touches it, and immediately it changes from red to blue, and it goes from faint to like bright, very bright in the sudden in the gloom. It's like surprising how bright it is, and you hear there's a rumbling almost. You can hear that something large is moving. You can hear through the walls the vibrations of stone against stone.
Ooh,
Are we rotating?
Is it like rotating to open up the stacks that the kids aren't supposed to get into?
It's as you're looking around, you're feeling there's definitely like there is some kind of movement that like you can see, like if you look out the hallway that you just came through, you can see that the bookshelves are very slowly moving past what you could see.
Yeah. All right, everyone, just don't move until it finishes moving.
It takes a couple minutes. It's a slow grinding. It as you're sitting there, the grinding starts to get a little bit louder as you're sitting there, and then it goes on for a couple minutes, gets a little bit louder, and then it stops. You can see like it was like a rumble that you could feel in every part of your body, and then it's gone. You can see that the bookshelves outside are no longer moving. As you exit the room, you can see all of the bookshelves are in different positions. Nothing else seems all that different as you're walking around, and you follow the pathway, the circle around, and what you can see is that center wedge that was in where the spot where the two circles intersected, it's moved. It has started to sink almost. You can see that you can see that like where you like the bookshelves, you can actually see now that there's spots where they like go back into the walls, and it's like it's bringing new bookshelf around to be visible. But at the same time, it was also part of that rumbling was the lowering of this ledge piece. You can see that the ceiling is flush. It's coming down from the ceiling, and it's only about halfway down. So there's about maybe like 7-8 feet between so there's about like 12-foot ceilings. It's maybe about like 6 feet down from the ceiling, about halfway.
Is it broken, or do you have to do both sides?
What about the other entrance? Is that also sealing off?
It is not sealing off. It doesn't look like if you think about that kind of center vestibule that led to these two circles, those doorways are still open.
Well, that's good. Leos, can you baby Bjorn Chia up there so she can take a look?
Sure. Leos will grab.
Well, you're 9 feet tall, so you should be
Chia.
able to reach easy.
Leos picks up Chia, kind of
One-handed, like a b-baller.
kind of grabs you by the skull and just as you're kind of put up there, Chia, you can see the top of it actually has, like, the top of it isn't flat. It is it actually has a staircase that is cut into it. that you can see that it goes down for not actually all that far. It's like you can see that like how big it is and where the like it's maybe like 30-40 feet from like point to point, and the stairs are in the middle. They're going like straight down at like a 45. And you can see that it goes through this enormous piece of rock and kind of dead ends at a spot where it looks like, you know, if the whole thing was lowered where it was supposed to be, maybe you could like this staircase might lead somewhere, but right now it's just heading in, it just ends in solid rock.
Ooh, secret stairs. But you can't access them right now. Let's see if you need to do both sides.
Yeah, because they were the two thingies.
So it's quick work. You make your way over to the other side. As you know, kind of, it's the similar setup. It's got the bookshelves, it's got everything, it's got that center room. As you go into the passageway to the center of the right ring, you can hear more of that rock on rock noise of like a small rock fall or like a scratch of something really hard on rock that's coming from the south around the curve of the bend.
Is
Killer
there more
Guardian statue?
Was there battle damage in the center of this room as well?
Yeah, as you make your way forward, you can see that there is more battle damage, and there's actually you can see there is a very recent body here that one of the adventurers there is like, you know, not more than a day or two old. There are some bodies here. Something has attacked them. You can see that there are like sharp claw marks ripped in their clothes and their armor. There's blood pooling on the floor. As you get into the center room, you can see that there's something has piled up a bunch of books and clothes and random bits and bobs into a nest of some sort. There's some bones scattered around and some half-eaten meals.
You see, Cinna, this is why we didn't send you this way on your own.
He's shivering. He's standing there. He's looking at the bodies. I recognize him. I recognize him. I recognize him. I mean, I don't know their names. I just know them. I saw them like yesterday. Yeah, it's I want to leave. I want to leave. Is that okay? I think I'm done.
If you leave, we won't be able to protect you. The safest place in this entire ruin is with us.
He's panicking. You can see that he's like having a breakdown almost.
All right, look. It's time for me to pull out lesson 14 from Dungeon Hustlers University. I'm going to introduce you to the concept of FUD. So anyone who tells you that the dungeons are full of dangers and it's stupid to go in and go out and like you're going to make your way that way, they're just haters. Look, so, and you aren't going to fall for the haters. You aren't going to let the haters stop you from achieving your destiny, are you? Of course not. We are immune to FUD. We are the anti-FUD. We are all in, aren't we?
Yes, I'm all in. I'm all in.
That's right.
I think I'm all in. Okay. That thing that you did, it was just you just came over to here and you pressed this thing, right?
Don't
and
do it yourself.
He's like halfway.
Don't. Yeah. Nope.
Morvins and Leos, what are you doing in right now?
Leos?
Probably just looking around.
Okay.
I'm going to make my way back up towards the entrance of the inner part of the circle, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to be keeping a very close eye out there, trying to make sure that nobody comes.
Okay. So, are you kind of on like the outer rim of the right circle, or are you back towards the entrance?
I'm right at the entrance so that I can't get, so nobody can come up behind me.
Okay. Yeah, so you're looking out, you're looking to see like, hey, what's going on? Leos, you're looking around. So there's kind of a moment where Cinna has his like one paw kind of like, 6 inches away from the stone book. Chia is looking on mortified. Kenzo is trying to like gesturing like hold him back. Leos and Morvins, what you see as you're looking around is it's like a patch of wall on the far side, like on one of the bookshelves. It looked like a whatchamacallit? The thing I'm looking for. Sorry, I'm looking for the item. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, you see there's a moment where like the books, it looked like a pile of rubble, and then all of a sudden it's not a pile of rubble. It looks like a panther or a cougar. It's got like no hair on most of its body, but a luxurious mane that stretches back from its head and neck. But instead of a head, it's like a skull. It's like an animal, like a cat skull. Like it has large, enormous eyes the size of tennis balls. It's got glistening teeth, but no skin or meat or flesh on all of the rest of its face. And then it's got like a vulture mane stretching around behind it. And the colors of it are seeming to like shift and shape. And it's turning towards the passageway that you all entered to get to the center room of the right circle. You have a split moment to react in. What do you do?
Leos, go first.
Can I jump at it to try to chokehold it?
Ooh, yes, you absolutely can. So as you there's kind of this moment where you see the whatchamacallit? You see this like cat-like creature. It kind of reveals itself from its camouflage, and it looks like it's about to like pounce and do anything. And then before it can even move, Leos jumps forward and in one smooth motion tries to grab it with in a lock. Give me ooh, that feels like a smash, but whatever ability you would like to roll with.
I would like to
you
add a die to
smash?
that. I would like to add a die to that, but with a help action.
Okay.
As Leos is going for the neck, I'm going to try and grab onto the back legs so it can't do that cat thing with the...
Okay. So it's like starting to try and get out of the shelf. It's kind of like sprawled along the shelf. So you rush forward and you try to grab the legs, and Leos, you're going for the head to try and grab it. So roll me your action, plus you've got one extra die from Morvin's helping you.
That's 2 2s and 1 1.
Oof. You try to grab it. You try to grab where you thought its head was, and all of a sudden, its head isn't there anymore. none of it is there anymore. All of a sudden you hear a scrape behind you, and you know that you don't know how, but it's behind you somehow. And you all of it's like that's all the thought that you have time for before you feel something like searing across your back. It's clawing you from behind. It's somehow finding all of the. Actually, is Lee wearing armor?
I think so.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say is, so the beast is, like it's somehow like it's almost like it's ripping some of the armor off of you, like it's grabbing at plates and like trying to rip them off, and it's scratching you through the armor in the process. Go ahead and take 2 strain.
And AD, of course, makes me suffer the consequences too.
Yeah. So, do you take all the consequences for that?
I believe so.
Okay. So you also like it's attacking Leos, but in because like you actually grabbed its legs before it disappeared, and it kicked you right before it somehow, like, you're not even sure what it did, but it just disappeared. It managed to like scrape you across the face, and take 2 strain.
No, not the badger face.
Chia and Kenzo, you hear like wailing, like an angry noise, like a cat that sees another cat and really just immediately hates it. Coming from behind you, Cinna is still poised with his finger about to press the book. What do you do?
Don't press that button.
Or do press the button. That's the security release. Maybe that's the all clear. Because remember before it was alarm and then you pressed it and it stopped it? You do it. Gia, you're the smart one.
I don't think we should do it when everyone's outside dying.
Do the thing that you did before and make it safe. It went from red to blue. Red is bad. Blue is good.
Okay. Well, go help him.
Okay.
I shove Cinna out of the way if I can. We'll see. Or just walk up there next to him.
Because to clarify, he hadn't pressed it, right?
Mm. Yeah,
Okay.
he was about to, like you paused him, you stopped him before he pressed it, but he was like still kind of like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to move an inch, not going to move a muscle. And so Chia, you come up and you kind of gently shove him out of the way. You press the button. The same thing happens. The red, all of the kind of animation goes away, and you see this red symbol come up, and you press it again, and just like before, it changes to blue, and you start hearing the same rumbling happening. You all rush back out to the fight with Morvins and Leos. And you see Kenza, anyone, let me see. Yeah, so you all see this like hairy cat creature that is like currently like grabbing onto the back of Leos and ripping at Leos's armor, and you can see Morvins is kind of like sitting again, like kind of leaning against the wall, kind of holding his face, and you can see some blood on his fur.
And it's a creature, not like an animated statue or construct, but it clearly has hair.
It's a full-blown living flesh and blood thing,
and it's sitting there howling and growling. I would very much like to sneak up on it, give it a little catnip.
Okay.
It seems to be very. It's very distracted.
Exactly. Yeah. Give me. That feels like a sneak to me.
Yeah.
But I'm open to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Huh. So do I do that and then that? Okay, this is weird dynamics. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an effort, which will make me exhausted. And when I'm exhausted, I get an extra die on sneak.
Okay. Oh, so are you out of effort? And
If
you're
I spend
trying
this
to...
one, I will become exhausted. And when I'm exhausted, I get an extra die on sneak and extra effect.
Oh, that's fun.
And if this gets me in trouble with something powerful, I get all my effort back.
Oh, I'm on the wrong sheet. That's why I was confused.
So dumb. One 6.
Okay. Yeah. You... Ooh, I'm going to say, because you're relying on like the... so not only are you successful, like, you know, you completely ignore all of the... like you're able to avoid all of its dodges or all of its like attacks, and you get right in there with the bottle and you pour it over, you tip some out onto its mouth, and it gets full on. It's like, just, you can barely see the head, and it's snarling and it's yelling, and it's like, ah! And you know, it quiets down, and it's still like struggling, but it's clearly like it's trying to... Ooh, it's like a really drunk cat, and it's still clawing at Leos, but it's not. It's weak. It's
making biscuits now.
Slow, yeah. Chia, what are you doing?
Chia's probably like, I was just going to stab this cat with magic, but I'm confused about the catnip part, I guess.
It's not so much catnip, it's more of like, you can tell whatever happened to Morvins and the guard before is happening to this animal. It's becoming what's the word for it? Pacified.
Yeah, catatonic.
Pacified. Right.
It's becoming tenderized.
Can I keep him?
Yeah.
No, we're dragging it into the room with the corpse
it
flower.
An easier target, right? If I'm just going to stab it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can hit,
right.
It is going to be very effective.
Okay. I will use some effort, and I'm going to be using Excel, because I think what I'm doing, I take the swizzle stick and I do the thing where I extended it like before, but now it's just like a pointed spear that can accelerate some of like the earth magic and the crystals that it has, to just sort of like try to either kill shot or at least stun it.
Okay.
Which means I'm precisely aiming to not hit Leos, who's sort of...
Okay.
Yeah,
if
near the
you
skull area.
roll really poorly on this, it's gonna be bad for Leos.
Oh,
but,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Listen, I have 3 dice. It'll be fine, right? Check status. And it'll be fine. We'll go for it. Oh, look, there's a 5. Leos, you're probably only a little hurt.
Yeah, Leos, take 1 strain.
How dare
It feels like another one of the claws kind of like managed to get through, but it wasn't a claw, it was the swizzle stick. But it's 1 more strain on top of all the rest.
Exactly.
Chia, you strike forward and you strike true. It's like it's moving in slow motion for a second, and it goes straight in to its vitals, and it kind of shivers, and it falls limp, and then falls backwards off of Leos's back.
Well done.
You guys okay?
Ugh. Cats are even worse than flowers somehow. I'm going to pull out a flask and offer a cup to Leo as well. And then have a nice warm drink of soup. Lee, would you mind restoring 1 effort, please?
Oh, thank you.
Well, that's taken care of. Senna, Want to send some of your guys to go drag this thing over to the flower? Give it a nice little nom nom?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Donathan, take, and the Throg just kind of like nods. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. And he reaches down and kind of like grabs it by like, you know, 2 legs in each hand and kind of flips it over his shoulders and just, you know, kind of walks off.
Don't get too close
backwards.
to it. Just like toss it in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna just like slide it across the room.
Yeah. And tell it came from us. And then that way it'll know that we're friends.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. He leaves, and as he leaves, you can hear the rumbling come to a stop again,
Which direction did it come from this time?
all around you. This was the same, like, very large kind of, like, everything is moving. The bookshelves have stopped moving again. As you, I assume y'all are going to go investigate the centerpiece.
Yeah.
As you investigate, you can see that it's fully sunken into the floor. The staircase leads down. You can see that now it leads into a passage. As you go down the passage, it goes down, it continues forward. You're about 30 feet below the ground level. You're heading forward. There's a large, you come out in a large room. It's maybe about 40 feet on a side. You can see that there's a very large version of the like the sample, the example artifact that you saw earlier. It is moving. It's moving faster than the one before was. As you're looking at it, you can see that it's glowing. Like as you're looking at it, it's glowing a little bit brighter than it was when you first walked into the room. It's moving a tiny touch faster. Below it is another one of those books. This time, you know, it's got that kind of light, slow animation as it's, you know, cycling through different symbols. You can see, you know, that there's almost like a wind that is struck up from the movement of the large circles moving in midair. The whole room is lit up by this green glow that is coming off of the circles.
Large version.
Yes.
It looks like a pepper bill.
Well, do the thing. Chia, you're the book person.
Well, okay. Are the symbols the same on this book?
No, the symbols are different. You actually recognize some of these without even need to think about it. You've seen similar symbols. So, like at the Chronicler Tower that you came from, some of the some like there are certain positions that are, you know, more very archaic, very storied, very prestigious. One of them is librarian. There's a, you know, a special, like you just call them librarian, but you know that their office, the office door to the librarian, the traditional house of it, has this ancient symbol on it. It looks like several pillars that are whatchamacallit, that are like I'll share a picture of it later. I'm blanking on the words. Anyway, you recognize this is not, it's not a word, it's just like this is the symbol that was always on the librarian's office. And that is what you see before you, a very kind of ornate, stylized version, but it's you know, this is an ancient Arcan Imperium symbol for the office of a librarian.
Is that the only one?
That's the main one. Every now and then there's a small book that appears and a quill. Every now and then there is a light that lights up that looks just like the spinning artifact in the room you're in.
Okay. Well, let's hit the librarian button.
Okay.
Maybe it'll summon a librarian and we can ask them questions. Maybe they'll make you the librarian.
Maybe,
As you touch it, are you using your kind of geomancy, or are you just straight up touching it?
I mean, I think I'm just straight up touching it to start with.
Use your
Got it.
magic.
What do you mean, my innate geomancer magic?
As you touch it, it fades away, and you see a question mark appear on the text, on the like, that is the glowing symbol that appears, and all around you you start to hear a rasping, and you look up. The two circles, the two intertwined gears, like magician's rings, they're starting to move faster. They're starting to accelerate. These things look like they weigh thousands of pounds. They're starting to move, you know, where before it was a couple minutes for a full revolution. And as you're watching, they're speeding up so that it goes, you know, maybe 30 seconds for a full revolution and spinning. And now you think it's fast enough that like 10 seconds for a full revolution. It doesn't look like it's stopping. It doesn't look like it's slowing. The question mark remains on the book.
All right, now it's ask it a question.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing?
Okay. Give me a... this is an action roll. So how are you doing this?
I think we're probably putting a bit of geomancy into this, since it is like a stone tablet, and I think it's sort of like a question of like how do you remember how other people approach this? Is sort of like also the question being asked of the stone, like what is it doing, but like what have people done here?
Okay.
Okay. I think that's still probably a study, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. Like you're just trying to like figure out what it wants. You're not actually trying to like interface with it or manipulate it. You're just trying to like, hey, let's see what's going on here and see what we can find out.
I am going to spend an effort though, because those things are spinning faster and I'm nervous. Boy, that's making a lot of breeze in here. All right, we got a 6.
Okay. With 1-6, as soon as you start probing it, you get the sense it's like you're standing on the ocean and you can feel like you're on a massive ship and you feel a wave move the entire boat that you're standing on. Or like you were standing in the middle of a field and you feel a tremor from an earthquake. Like something much more vast and massive than you can imagine is moving. And you're connected to it. You feel that whatever is powering, like that whatever you're feeling is the same thing that's powering everything around you. It's powering the artifacts, and it's strong. It's very strong. It's getting stronger.
The power is increasing.
Yeah.
All of you start to feel it's a little bit warm.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
We know how this goes.
I look for a button to see if there's a way, like a stop button. Anything that looks like a cease, a stop. Could you not do that?
Okay, this is definitely going to be a tinker.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. You're frantically, you're looking around, you're looking for like anything. You're trying to figure out like, oh, can I turn this off? Can I turn this off?
Leos, you're good at tinkering, at finding buttons and stuff. You should help.
Yeah, Leos, is there a stop button? Anything that looks like a stop button. Leos is like, I only know about one button, and it's the one that starts fires.
Hi.
Well, can you find the anti-fire button?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So would you like Leos to spend an effort to give Gia
Sorry.
a die?
Yeah, Leos, if you would like to help out here.
Can multiple people assist?
Oh,
I think only one
Okay.
assist on the thing. You get one from your effort and one from an assist. Is that what I think it usually does, right?
That
Okay.
sounds right.
Okay.
I'll spend an effort to provide Chia a die.
All right, I will also spend an effort because I had none dying tinker, and this will be 2
Yep.
dying tinker.
That'll be 2d6.
I got a 4, which is partial success,
Okay.
which is better than none.
Okay. So you're touching it, you're patting it, you're poking around, you're trying to find a stop button, and you're probing with your geomantic sense. You get a feeling that, oh, this combination and that button, maybe that's something. And you're touching it and you're connecting it and you're reaching out with your magic. And there's a moment where you feel like you're almost there, and then it loses. And you can see that the rings are still spinning and starting to spin faster, but not as fast as before. The room is still warm. It's getting a little bit warmer, but not as fast as before. Whatever was happening, you've slowed it.
All right, well, I think that's as good as it gets, everybody. Time to clear out.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you'd like to try.
Oh, I mean,
It's
no.
slowed down.
No. I will probably break it. Unless I can charm it.
I mean, you can always try. I think that it would be difficult. It would be very difficult to do. So that's probably at least like a -1 die. And it'll have very low effect.
Yeah.
But it is certainly possible.
Fine. I mean, the whole point was to turn it on and burn everything up anyway. So here's the advantage. Once we turn it on and burn everything alive inside it, then it's safe to explore once it cools down again.
Chia, do you get the sense that you've managed to slow it enough that we could go into the right-hand room and to look for other survivors before we have to flee the building?
I don't know. Did I get that sense? I don't know if I got that much sense.
You have the feeling. You got a 5, right? Or you got a mixed
4.
success?
Mixed
Okay.
success, yeah.
You got the feeling that you slowed it down enough, given your experience with, the other head. You can do one thing. Like, you could try and do, like, you're gonna have to get out of here if you don't want to just die outright. You're gonna have to get out of here really quickly. You could do like one small task before you get out, on the level of like, if you want to try and interface with the book again, if you want to go run into a room and scope it out, something like that. You have time for like a light action.
Like 30
So
seconds.
basically, if we're really fast, we can.
Well, if we're
But
really,
if that hallway's too long, it's
Yeah.
going to be rough.
yeah, we should just go. Cheese it.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you all,
So we start cheesing it.
yeah, you start cheesing it. You've got
Jonathan,
your brie, you've got your
drop the
cheddar,
cat, come
your
on.
Roquefort. You all run into Donathan, and on his way back, Cinna is behind you. You are all sprinting as fast as you can. You don't even say anything to him. You're just running. The air is getting warmer. It takes not too long to get out. You run up you're going around the circles. You're going past the rooms. You can start to hear there's some like screeching from the walls as the monkeys are starting to yell. You can see that there's like alcoves and walls dropping, and you can see like green lit figures, like animated pieces of armor with green glowing ghostly bodies in the spaces where a body would be, that are coming out of alcoves in the walls. They're picking up rusted weapons and they're brushing off cobwebs. You recognize these as relics, but they're all like, they're moving kind of slowly. They're not, and their weapons. You're just running right by them as you are making your way out, and just you finally get towards it. You skid to the stop. The two guards that were there before, like they're looking in, wondering like what's going on in there, and they see you running, and they just start running as well, and running and yelling for people to get away. And right as you are exiting, you see that the stone starts to glow red from all of the heat, and as you're running out and you're getting away, you're waving everyone down to get them out of the way. You can see that everyone is just standing there and looking and at this, and as you're all standing, you can see that there is another one of like similar as before. There's like a glowing shaft of light that shoots up from the head into the sky, and you can see at the same time, about a mile away, where the southern head was, that one is also lighting up. There are two beams going up into the sky. And I think that's what we'll call it. We are still technically mid-expedition. I will leave it. We will decide elsewhere whether you all want to end the expedition early or keep going next session. But we are technically in the still in the expedition. Session end. So the camera pulls out. We see all of the see the two heads lighting up, the two pillars of light going into the sky, and a couple things to wrap up that happened while you were all in there. A couple camera scenes. One of them is you see overgrowth guards. They're walking through the camps of some of the like scattered, unaffiliated scavenger groups. They're handing out broadsheets and pamphlets. The pamphlets are describing a plan they're covered in text. The people are reading the pamphlets and the posters. They're looking concerned and angry. What are those? We don't know yet. We can see that there's we look at one of those scenes of an overgrowth agent like handing out papers to adventurers. The camera zooms up and zooms into the center. We pass by berms of soil that are dug up in the middle of the giant square of ruins, and it comes in on the center building where you see that there is a breaker that has their fist, their magically enhanced gauntlet, who is striking at the wall of the building in the center, and it crumbles with his last strike. The breakers have entered, have broken into the center ruins, and then you also see the camera keeps going, and in the middle of the field you see retreating Booker soldiers who are running away from a scene of battle where they had been trying to capture a green, glowing, ghostly figure, one of the relics of the ruins, and half of them lie on the ground as the other half are running away. And I think we will leave it there. If any of you felt like you fulfilled your ideals, 1 XP for one of your ideals, 2 if it was 2 or more of your ideals. If you were challenged or tested through combat or otherwise, 1 XP, or multiple times. And if you invoked burdens at least once, 1 XP. And aside from that, that has been Season 2, Episode 2 of Burial Grounds. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for playing. I hope you enjoyed it. And let's go around and do the thing. Kenzo, let's start with you. Or Zero, let's start with you.
Sure.
Tell us about you.
Yeah, I'm here. And usually only here. And occasionally in other people's chats when my name is said 3 times and I'm summoned. Like Bloody Mary. Hey, bye.
Hello, I am Twi'lek, and I have been playing Morphans. And the single most valuable thing we learned today is that behind the alcoves there are relics. Sin.
Hi, I'm Sin or sinful__potato on Twitch and possibly other social media sites. I stream on Twitch. I plan to stream tomorrow at 12 Eastern, which is 11 Central AM. Yeah. And then also Friday, again, streaming Soma because I like to torment myself for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Yeah, that's me, Misha.
All right, I'm Misha, or Misha_lesson3 on Twitch. I'm usually here or modding at the Justice TV program. You'll probably see me here. I'm hoping to get a Fate Brigade set up for later in March. We'll see how that goes. And you all should decide to play one of the drop-in games. I'm very busy the next few weeks, but you all should definitely play one. I think people are looking around at that Call of Cthulhu one. Yeah. So just like announce that you would like to play one day, and then it will probably happen.
Yes. Whenever 3 of you are gathered together, I will be there to be your keeper and drive you to insanity with eldritch horrors.
Exactly.
That was a lot of fun. And I am Chev. If I am not here running a game, I am usually over at my own channel, where I play mahjong, or it's a card game, basically, and hanging out with some Cat Cam. This is Ruby. She's the star of the show. Listening to some music, playing some card games, and if that sounds like your jam, I would love to have you come hang out.
Cool. Awesome.
So I think that just about wraps it up.
Yeah. Thanks, Chad, for running. Thanks, everyone, for playing. Thanks, everyone, for showing up in the chat. Thanks, Juice and crew, for the raid. Hey, if you're watching us later on YouTube, you should, I don't know, like and subscribe and comment and stuff. And if you're here on Twitch, you should follow. Don't feel the need to subscribe, though. We don't need your money. Just eyeballs. Cool. So, yeah, we should say goodbye to our friends on the YouTube, then we'll come back and raid out. So, bye, everybody on YouTube.